Hi and welcome back to the channel. So today I am going to have a look at Syntronik 2, which was part of the Humble Bundle. You can still buy Syntronik 2 on its own if you don't want the whole sample tank software, and this is €150 or £124 or about $152. There's not much difference between euros and dollars these days. So I think Arturia's V collection is probably the closest thing that I can think of that this is comparable with, but obviously that is about 3 or 4 times the price. Get about the same number of synths, so this is about 34, and I think V collection is maybe up to about 39 now. So Syntronik 2 sets the new standard in modern virtual synthesizers. IK's advanced sampling techniques combined with hybrid sample and modeling synthesis engine power a comprehensive collection of rare and sought after synths. So this is a massive update to the previous release, adding 12 new synths, exciting new advanced and much requested functionality, and a huge number of all new presets for the 22 original synths, taking advantage of all these new features. This is the kind of edit page, and you can see you've got a lot of control over the oscillators, the filters, the amp envelopes, and all the waveforms and everything. You've got the kind of preset browser, so it looks very similar to Sample Tank. You basically can select one or more synths and filter by timbres and genres. So it also gives you a little snapshot there of what it is. So the multi-panel is probably the best thing about Sample Tank and Syntronik. Syntronik is different from Sample Tank in the fact that you can only have 4 layers, whereas Sample Tank you can have up to 8. I mean, to be honest, normally I would never really go above 4 anyway. One of the reasons that the Korg Wave State was one of my favorites is because this is what you could do. You could have 4 layers and you could key split them so that you could bring in lots of different instruments at different parts. You could overlap them, and that is what I like doing, kind of building up at least kind of 3 presets and then having some of them overlapping and playing and coming in, and I think it is fantastic. So you can actually switch off and on the whole effects there, and you've got other controls like the ARP as well. So that is the multi-panel. The effects panel, you have a maximum of 5 effects, and there is an absolute ton of options that I will show you later on. You can drag these around as well. You can reorder them just by clicking and dragging and switch them off individually up there. So that is pretty cool. And then you've got an ARP and a sequencer in this. You think you can have up to 32 steps. You can tie notes together and do all sorts of things. There are some similarities between this and Arturia. So Syntronik has things like the Galaxy, the 99, the OXa, there's the DCO-X, which is pretty cool, the Sorcerer, the M-Poly, which is pretty good because Korg have just brought out a reissue of the M-Poly, so that's quite cool. You've got things like the KW8000, so I always wanted to try one of those, so that's pretty good. So you've got classics like the Jupiter 8 and the M12 and stuff like that. This has also got the Oscar as well, and also a TB03 drum machine. So if you want to actually find out a bit more details about what these synths are, because a lot of them are not exactly I would say particularly well known. For instance, the Synth X, I have no idea what that is. So it actually tells you. So this is the king of Italian synthesizers. This is the Elka Synth X, the most famous, cherished, and now ultra expensive king of Italian polysynths. Didn't really know that. So it was made famous by Jean-Michel Jarre, and we include several interpretations of Jean's famous laser harp sound. The Synth X is regarded as the same highly esteemed company as the Jupiter 8, Prophet 5, the Memory Moog, and the Matrix 12. So I haven't even downloaded that one yet. So I've downloaded about 8 because it takes so goddamn long. So the KW8000, so it's a digital analog hybrid, and it has digital oscillators with short samples of 16 different waveforms. Right, okay. And they've got things like the Prophet VS. So that is the vector synthesis version of the Prophet. So that's quite cool, and I think Arturia do that one. The British Oscar, a classic analog filtered monosynth. You've got things like the Sorcerer. Now, I don't really recognise this one at all. So the legendary Moog Source and its transistor ladder filter. The Sorcerer offers a distinctive timbres of the legendary Moog Source 2-fat analog oscillators. The triptych is the Korg Trident. The triptych is based on the warm sounds of the classic Korg Trident with its separate synth, string and brass sections. So these are the classic ones. So I'm assuming a lot of these will be in the V collection. You've got the Memory V, which is the Memory Moog. You've got the EMS VC53, the M Poly, which was Korg's Monopoly, and also the Poly 6. The SHV is based on Roland's SH5 and SH2. The Modulum is based on Modular Moog EMS VC53, Alesis Andromeda. The Minimod based on Modular Moog Minimoog Model D and a Moog Voyager. The OXA is based on Oberheim's OBX and OBXA. The J8 is obviously the Jupiter 8, the Jupiter 6 and the Jupiter 4. So they've kind of combined it with some other Jupiters. So the Pro-V is the Sequential's Prophet 5. Harpy 260 is based on the ARP 2600. TO3 is based on Roland's TB303 baseline. And then we have the Blau. So that's based on the PPG Wave 2.3. So that'll be quite cool. Apparently Behringer are going to be bringing out a clone of that later this year. So looking forward to maybe getting one of those. And the Galaxy. So I've never seen or heard of this. This is based on the Alesis Andromeda. Manufactured from 2000 to 2010. The Andromeda is a 16-voice analog polysynth with 2 oscillators per voice. Syntronik's String Box offers a collection of classic string machines including the ARP String Ensemble, the Elka Rhapsody, the Hohner String Performer, the Roland RS505 and RS09, and they were manufactured from 74 to 81. So the 99 is based on Yamaha's SY99. Right, okay. So it has 16 voices with 4 elements per voice that can be either AWM or DX style FM synthesis. DCO-X is based on Roland's GX10, the GX8P and the GX3P. So the Noir is based on Multimoog, the Micromoog and the Moog Prodigy. So bringing together 3 classic Moog synths. And last but not least, the J60. So based on Roland's Juno 60, Syntronik uses the authentic sound of the Roland Juno 60 manufactured from 82 to 84. The Juno 60 was the lower priced alternative to the very expensive Jupiter 8 that found its place in music production all its own. Right, so that is all you are getting for your 150 euros. So the V collection is 599 euros, and you can see there's quite a lot of similar ones there. The difference is, so you can see there's all the analog synths for the V collection. So, you know, similar ones. You've got the CS80, the Prophet 5, the Juno 6 and the Jupiter 8. So they've got a Juno 60 instead of the Juno 6. There's the ARP 2600, the Matrix 12. So some of the other best ones are the Emulator and the SQ80. These are really good. The DX7, the recreations of these are pretty good. And then you've got keyboards and organs like the Farsifa, the Selena and the Mellotron and the B3. And then some acoustic stuff. And then obviously things like the Augmented series is completely different. So that is basically an intro to Syntronik 2 and what you are getting. So we will open up the Syntronik 2 app and I will show you how it works and how it sounds. Right, so as you can see, that was a preset I created using 3 of the layers, B, C and D, and we've got a cinema pad, a piano phase and a Bill Martin lead. Got them split at B1 and A4. So that is kind of one of the best things about it, and to access that you just click in there, so you can switch off all the effects and we can just hear what that sounds like without any effects. Not nearly as good. And then you can lock these off, and you can mute, and then you can solo. So we could just hear what... That's the Bill Martin lead. So you can select each of these and go and edit each one individually. So you can see this is the edit panel, and this is the effects, and this is the player. So I haven't been using any of the players. So this is your main page that you start off with. You can filter by generation. Now, there's a reason for this, is because if you go, say we'll pick the DCO and we pick Syntronik 1, say blowing glass. So we'll load that in. So if you go to the edit panel, you'll get this message saying that this is unavailable for Syntronik 1 legacy presets. I'm not quite sure why, because you can actually use the edit panel in Sample Tank. So it seems to be a bit different for the standalone Syntronik app. So you can filter purely by 1 or 2 or both. So at least if you know, if you're filtering by 2, then you can always use the edit panel for Syntronik 1 presets. Say, we'll have Aurora strings. You can just go to the front panel and adjust it there. And I'm using my Keylab 49, so I could actually use the faders instead of the knobs. So I could MIDI learn these, and I could adjust. So using my faders on the Arturia. Like I said, it's quite easy. You just right click as usual, MIDI learn, and that's it. So that is what you're getting. And you can see on this one, you've got different types. You've got phasers, formants, classics, and off. And then you've got different modes: low pass, notch, band pass, high pass. So yeah, and then you've got obviously different controls there. You've got your tuning oscillators 1 and 2, and your waveforms. So if you want to filter, you can by either favorites or categories, timbre, style, music genre, mood and user. You can click on one of these or as many as you want. I've downloaded about 9. So if you're wanting to filter pads, you can filter all the pads in those 3. And they will come up in an alphabetical list. And if you want to clear that, you just click on those. You can clear the whole lot, because normally I've just been filtering, you know, I've just been going through each one on its own. Play a bit of Aurora strings. We'll load this in layer A, and then we can have actually listen to this on its own. So we can adjust the type, put on your phaser. Bump up the volume a bit. Master volume's up here. Classic and off. So that's some of the controls on the DCO-X. We go back to generation and we'll go to Syntronik 2, an anamorphic DCO sweep, and then we can have a look at the edit panel. So yeah, so that's the edit panel. And there's a volume down there as well. And pan. So as you can see, it is very nice. And you've got obviously things like filters here and the type. So you're getting the same information, just in a different kind of view. And you're also getting your mod matrix here as well. And then you've got your effects panel, so you can see what's being applied in here. And then you've got your player. So you bump up the drive. Change the type. Phaser on. performant. So yeah, so pretty cool. That's the DCO-X, the Galaxy, which is the kind of one that I didn't really know much about. So we'll put on Syntronik 2 and we'll just try Archipelago Sweep. I don't really know what this one is like. And we'll have a look at the panel. So it's a bit bonkers, the panel. So you've got your main cutoff there. Little drive. So yeah, sounds quite nice. And then you've got the different waveforms. Or you could go to edit mode. I quite like working with the panel actually, because it's a bit more interesting. See the J60, let's say the Juno pad. So you get, like I said, you get a snapshot of the effects, and also it just tells you a wee bit about it there. So this is the kind of like standard effects. So if I'll play a bit more. So that is very nice. So for instance, like I said, you can switch these off individually, or if you want to switch them all off, you can kind of go here. On Sample Tank, there's a way of switching them all off here, or you can actually link them all as well. So you can create your own presets. So I've actually got one there called Auto Pan Ambience. So you can link them together and then save that as a preset and then bring it back in, or you can actually save a setting for a particular effect as well. And like I said, there's absolutely tons. So if I go to, I'll pick on the vintage plate. So you've got amps, you've got about 8 or 9 of those. You've got distortions, dynamic EQs, modulation, and then we are in reverb and delay. So there's no shimmer reverb, but it has pretty much everything else. You've got digital reverb delay, inverse, spring, stereo imager, tape echo, and hall reverb and plate. So we'll go to tape echo, and you can see you get a completely different kind of, so these are all based on the Amplitude series that IK Multimedia do. And then for instance, we could switch the EQ to say compressor. And they're really, I do like the analog stuff. And then we can switch the ensemble, which is modulation, to say flanger. And like I said, I could just link that and then save that as whatever I want, you see, and then you can bring it back in. Say we've got a guitar, could put on some amps and stuff like that. The Jupiter 8 atmospheric approach, that's bound to be pretty cool. It's kind of like got the standard effects, so I've been going in and changing these quite a bit. So I could assign the cutoff to my first fader, and the res. So that's that. And we could bump up the drive. That's the J8, the M Poly. Korg have just kind of re-released this as a hardware, so we'll just go with the first preset. Go to the panel. So again, I can. So it's kept the MIDI learn on that, so I can use that first fader for the cutoff and the res. And I could do the drive as well, just MIDI learn the drive. So we're in classic, so we could change to, say, type R. And then you've got an oscillator 2D tune. So yeah, let's say we could go in and change the effects for this. We've got a phaser on it as well. Like I said, these are generally standard, the channel strip and the vintage plate and the EQ. So that's the M Poly and the Minimod. We'll just have a quick blast of Minimod sweep. So yeah, quite cool. Also, if we got the OXa, now this is pretty nice. Big phase pad. Alright, so that's the legacy one. So we've only got 3, so we could put in some overdrive. Saturator. Like I said, the effects are pretty cool. Amplitude is a great program. Amplitude is a great set of effects. Go to the Prophet V because this is going to go on a bit long. Right, let's play a guitar. Yeah. So that's a So that is a guitar. So that's a guitar with. So let's go to the effects. So you can see this has got a modern tube lead. So we could bang on, say, put it about 50%, and then we'll have a play around with some of the amps. We'll change this to Convo Room. And then let's try British tube lead. Alright, so there's loads of these, and this is pretty cool. Let's try Studio A. Or SVT. So that's not a very quick look at Syntronik 2, and I will do some more. I'll download some more of the synths and we'll have a look at creating some other of these. So I'll play out with say infinite strings and we'll just see how that sounds. This is a 3-part and it is ambient strings, cloudy day in Tokyo and infinite pad. So thanks for watching, and as usual, if you are enjoying these videos, please like, subscribe, share and comment, and I will see you in the next one.